Look at that, this thing's finally got some dirt on its tires. So this truck made its maiden voyage. I didn't get any footage because it only ran for about 10 seconds before the servo went bad. So I built these servo savers right here. This is a spring loaded piece, but the servos were old, so I kind of knew that was gonna happen. Also, one other thing I forgot to do was this is the on off switch. I forgot to zip tie this thing or double sided tape it in there, so it was kind of just bouncing around in there, so I didn't want to break that. So it's kind of good that I didn't run this thing too long, but it was just cool after all this work to have this thing finally on tires and moving on its own power. Still some changes I have to make. Like, these are the axle housings that I built when I built this chassis over here. This is the steel tube chassis that's identical to the monster truck chassis. This thing is awesome. Look at that. This is really cool. So I was running this with the 800 kV motor, but it was really heavy. This one is like the mock-up chassis that's just solid rod, but the one that I used was a mix of solid chromoly rod. Anything that could take a hit was solid, and all the stuff inside was hollow tube, all chromoly. So that was the best design, but it was still really heavy and kind of limited in space, and also very expensive and time consuming to make. And because I'm going to be doing a very limited production run of these, I wanted to make it so it's affordable. And honestly, I think this design looks cooler. It's just really neat looking. There's nothing else out there like it. I mean, I'm sure somebody will copy it, but for now, it's definitely one of a kind. So these axles are not staying in this truck. I'm making new ones. These ones are way too heavy. So this truck, my goal was under 30 pounds. And with batteries, this thing came in at 32 pounds, which still isn't bad because this setup with the 800 kV motor, which is a lot lighter than that thing, this truck came in at 36 pounds without batteries. So for this one to be 32 pounds, a little like 32 and a half with batteries, that's not bad. These axles are 1/8 inch thick steel, which is way overkill for something like this. So the new axles are gonna be way lighter, so that'll put it under the 30 pound mark. But also these are the MTXL tires and wheels, which those aren't staying on either. I'm making some wheels to use IMEX jumbo cones, which are a little bit smaller and lighter, make it handle better, accelerate better. But this thing was a monster. Even though it only ran for like 10 seconds, this thing was so fast and powerful on 12S with this gearing. It's insane. So I will be making more of these. Like I said before, I'm going to be doing a very limited production run. Probably about 10 or so, I'm thinking. And they're close. I was hoping to have this thing running by now, but I've been going back and forth on a couple ideas. So these axles use the low C DBXL-E axle gear sets. It's just an assembly, pops right in. And so I toyed around with the idea of having custom gears made. I could make them myself. I have the machines, but I've never made gears before, so that's something you want to leave to an expert. But the problem is, I talked to a couple gear manufacturers, and it's very expensive to do like a small run. And most other places wouldn't even make any unless I did like a huge production run. So I also thought about this, since I'm only making a few of these, if the gears ever go bad, it would be much easier for somebody to replace them with the DBXL ones, because those same gears came in the DBXL, DBXL-E, MTXL version 1 and version 2, and they all interchange. So if I had custom one-offs, it'd be very hard to replace if something broke. I also thought about putting the 5T diffs in there, because a lot of people suggested that they're better, which they are, but there's not as many out there. If you go on eBay, you can find these DBXL-E diffs. There's tons of them on there. So I think that's where I'm gonna go. So now I'll finish the axle housings, and I just gotta finish that, and also the body mounts. The body mounts are gonna come off of here and hold up the arm and Mojave body. It'll sit something like that. But you can see that looks really cool right there, like that. And as far as decals go, good old Autographics California came through again. Check this out. Look at that right there. It's just like that. So it's Autographics California. You can go on eBay. They sell these. So if you want to make a mini aggravated assault, you can buy all this stuff right off their website on eBay, or their eBay store. I still have to do a little shock tuning. This thing was way too stiff. I don't think it's just spring rate, but also the shock oil is too thick, made it to drill bigger holes. So these are fifth scale Creighton shocks. I'm also going to be making my own shocks down the road, but being able to use off the shelf parts is a good idea because replacements are easier to find than if I just sold one-offs on everything. Also, take a look at the shock angle. You can see the back ones are a little bit straighter Then the front, all that's done intentionally, and that took a lot of designing to have everything bolt up perfectly. So all that's left on this thing, other than finishing the axle housings, I gotta make a brace to go from there to there. That ties in right there. I have to finish the body mounts. There's one there, and then inside here, there's like another bolt hole. Goes in here, there's a spacer that goes between the battery box and the, I don't know, diff cover, whatever you call that. And then the wheels for the jumbo Kong tires. So once I have all the programs made, I already have everything made for this chassis assembly. So right now I could just make tons of these pretty quickly, but the time consuming part's gonna be finishing the programs for the axle housings and then the wheels and getting the materials. A lot of people ask why I'm only doing a limited production run of about 10 or so, just because I'm so busy. Because not only am I doing this stuff, but I also own a custom exhaust shop. I have rental property, real estate, all that stuff that I gotta take care of. Also the website for the monster truck, aggravatedassaultmonstertruck.com. I put some shirts and stuff up on there and they sold out so fast. I didn't think that would happen. So I had to figure out how to ship all the stuff all over the place. So I learned my lesson there. I'm only putting like 3 at a time on. So right now I think I have like 3 larges available, but I have totes full of merchandise, but I was gonna put them on in limited quantities. So it makes it a lot easier to ship things out that way. Check this out, this is cool. So I put a short up on this thing. I finally got around to doing the EFI. So that's a Holley HP multi-port EFI. I've had that system for a few months, probably close to a year. I've just been so busy. I haven't put it on yet, and part of the reason I'm doing that now is because as of 2024, Monster Jam wants all trucks to run EFI instead of this old Enderley mechanical injection. And even though I don't plan on running at Monster Jam, the thing is like whatever Monster Jam does, a lot of the small promoters, small independent tours end up doing the same. So I'll see how the HP EFI goes on this, and then as long as that's good, I'll switch to this. And it's pretty cool too, because a good friend of mine works for Holley in their EFI department. So he's coming over tomorrow to tune this thing and get it ready for his first startup. So I'll have a video on that soon. So anyway, that's it for now. Take care. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and pretty soon I'll have a running video of this thing. Take care. See you next time.